I don't think I'll ever buy another car that is not a Hyundai.
People say money can't buy happiness. If you own a Tesla, you can be happy.
전기차 살래? 가솔린 차 살래? 여러분이 내일 차를 산다면 어떤 차를 사시겠나요? 도봉산 등산을 함께한 외국인 친구들에게 물어봤습니다. 대답은 바로
Do you drive? Do you have a car?
In the States, I
Yeah.
have Hyundai Elantra
Why did you buy the Hyundai?
because I had a Hyundai Sonata before that.
Okay.
And I had a Hyundai Sonata before that. And I don't think I'll ever buy another car that is not a Hyundai.
Because you're satisfied with the
I
Hyundai.
love it.
Why?
They're very affordable.
Okay.
They're very efficient on gas. Very comfortable, very smooth rides.
Okay.
And I don't need a big fancy car. And I feel like it's a practical car that I can use because when you're in the States, you have to drive everywhere. So you need to be cost effective with your gas. And my Elantra gets excellent gas mileage.
I see. What if you have to buy a car tomorrow? Would you buy gasoline car or electronic vehicle?
I would probably still get a gasoline car because the electronic vehicles are so expensive.
What if the price is pretty much the same?
If the price was pretty much the same, I would get a new car, yes.
Is there any reason for that?
Because it's better for the environment. It's also cheaper than than driving gas.
Car itself is expensive, but the maintain cost, you mean?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes,
it's
yes.
cheaper and then better for the environment. The full-scale auto driving.
I'm too much of a control freak. I need to be behind the wheel.
I see.
Unless it's Metro Transit or a train or a plane, I'm driving.
So even if in the future they would have the full-scale auto driving function, you would still drive by yourself.
There's actually an excellent episode on revisionist history by Malcolm Gladwell that talks about this and about why these cars will never ever succeed in society.
You mean the auto driving car?
Correct.
Why?
Because if you're the auto driving car and I get too close to you, even if I'm walking,
Okay.
if I'm walking, it'll sense and it'll go another direction. So I could chase you, the auto driver, away from me. That is a flaw in the self-driving cars.
So you don't really believe the auto driving?
I don't think that we're going to be able to have driverless cars in the future.
Gasoline car or electronic vehicle?
I'd really go to an electronic vehicle. I just sat in a Tesla like 1 week back. It's like future.
Why do you think so?
It's so convenient. It makes driving so easy. There's like line fixing and you can see people in the cameras and all.
Yep.
It's so futuristic and I'm a tech guy, so
Okay.
I just like to promote it or something like that. Maybe.
Okay.
People say money can't buy happiness. If you own a Tesla, you can be happy. It's so good. It's just so futuristic, the vehicle. I like it. Not just Tesla, any electronic vehicle. One more thing is that it won't pollute the environment, right?
Okay.
That's some good thing. You need to build sustainable stuff for the future.
Elon Musk would be so happy because now he has one more future customer.
Sure.
Gasoline car or electronic vehicle?
Electronic, because we can conserve more energy and we can afford the environment.
Full-scale auto driving. Do you think it could happen maybe in 10 years?
I think so, because they're testing right now. When I see the test, I think they're actually doing a great job. I wouldn't personally use it.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't, because I trust myself more.
Okay. Auto driving option is not a big selling point for you.
No, it's not.
Gasoline car or electronic vehicle?
Oh, definitely electric car. It's better for the environment, and these days electric cars are coming up so fast.
Yep.
By the time I think I get a job and I'm in a financial situation to get a car, it will be like technology will be better. There will be charging stations at more places, and more people will be changing to electric cars because that's what the future is. Let's be
Okay.
honest, it is the future.
Why do you think the electronic vehicle is the future?
Because at some point the gasoline resources are going to finish. We can't keep depending on what is it called?
What is it called?
Fossil fuels.
Non-renewable resources.
Okay.
It's better for the environment. And if you're in a financial situation to buy it, if someone really cannot afford an electric car, I understand. But if you can, then why not help the environment?
진짜 자율주행이 가능할 거라고 보세요? 한 10년 안에.
10년 안에는 충분히 될 것 같아요. 지금 발전 속도로 봐서는 충분히 될 것 같기도 해요.
그러면 이제 그런 자율주행차가 오면 전기차 자율주행차는 구입하시겠어요?
근데 제가 약간 좀 개인적인 건데 저는 좀 내연기관 그 아시죠? 그 남자들의 로망 있잖아요. 그
엔진 소리.
네, 네, 남자들의 그 로망이 그 남자들은 아시잖아요. 그
네.
로망이 있는 거라서 아직은 만약에 포르쉐가 지금 하고 있긴 하거든요. 그러니까 전기차에서도
네.
그 약간 내연기관의 그 힘을 느낄 수 있는 힘과 그런 이제 감성을 느낄 수 있는 걸 만들었다고 해요 지금.
네.
그래서 만약에 전기차가 그렇게 만들어지면 전 100% 사죠.
그러면 그 자율주행이 되게 중요한 셀링 포인트는 아니다.
네, 그렇죠. 또 이 수동으로 운전하는 또 이 맛이 있잖아요. 또 차는 또.
예. If you have to buy a new car tomorrow, would you buy gasoline or EV?
I thought about that because I just recently had a new contract.
You are going to buy a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it usually takes like a year or two
Okay.
to get a new car
Oh.
because of all the like semiconductor issues and things
True.
like that. So I was actually thought about whether I'm gonna go for like a more like a eco-friendly, like environment-friendly.
EV or gasoline?
Gasoline, yeah. And then I made my decision for this one. I'll go for gasoline one more time.
Okay.
And then probably after that,
Okay.
I will transit to
EV.
yeah.
But this time, like any reason that you still go for
Yeah,
gasoline?
yeah, not enough infrastructure.
I see.
Yeah, and I cannot spend like an hour or so just to get charged.
Okay.
Because there is no charger in my apartment, so I have to park somewhere else. Find like a station for charging, and then stay there until it gets fully charged, and then come back home. No, I can't do that. If there are more like a charging stations that are like very available and very fast, like gasoline car, then I will consider.
When you buy your next car, all that infrastructure for EV is ready. That time you consider buying EV
Of course,
because
of the environment.
I see.
Yeah, because of the earth.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, I don't really enjoy driving, so gasoline, electronic car doesn't make any difference.
I
So, and I know what gasoline can do, to the environment, so I'm willing to change.
Okay.
Yeah, but just because of the lack of infrastructure, I don't think I'm there yet. I'm not too like tech savvy.
Okay.
So yeah, not for me. Not for like another like 5 years.
Wait a second.
전기차를 고려하는 가장 큰 이유가 자율주행이 아니라 환경보호라는 점이 약간 의외였습니다. 제가 운전을 싫어해서일까요? 저는 자율주행이나 적어도 주행 편의 기능 때문에 전기차를 사고 싶은데 사람들은 생각보다 자율주행에 크게 관심이 없네요. 오히려 가솔린 엔진의 굉음이나 운전 자체를 즐기는 사람들도 꽤 있습니다. 대신 젊은 세대일수록 환경보호에 더 관심이 많은 걸 보면 자동차뿐만이 아니라 다른 제품을 구매할 때도 환경이 점점 더 중요한 고려사항이 되겠다는 생각이 들었습니다. 반면에 전기차의 비싼 가격과 배터리 충전소와 같은 인프라 부족이 전기차 구입을 망설이는 주요한 사항이라는 것을 다시 한번 확인했습니다. 전기차 가격은 점점 낮아지고 전기차 인프라는 점점 확대되고 있으니 시간이 지나면 해결되겠지만 문제는 언제 해결될지는 아무도 모른다는 것이겠죠. 재밌는 건 현재 내연기관차를 운전하는 사람들은 여전히 내연기관차를 선호하는 것 같았고 아직 차가 없는 사람들은 전기차를 더 선호하더라고요. 차가 없는 사람들은 아무래도 주유소와 같은 인프라가 운전할 때 얼마나 중요한지 잘 몰라서 그렇게 생각하는 것 같습니다. 반면에 내연기관차를 운전하는 사람들은 내연기관차가 그들에게는 레거시이기 때문에 다시 말해 내연기관차를 운전하는 게 이미 익숙하니까 여전히 내연기관차를 선호하는 게 아닐까라는 생각이 들었습니다. 적어도 한국에서는 지금 차를 바꾸거나 첫 차를 구매하는 분들은 여전히 가솔린 차를 구매할 것 같네요. 그런데 차량 교체 주기를 8년이라고 본다면 2030년에 차를 바꾸거나 처음으로 차를 사는 사람들은 전기차를 더 많이 선택할 수도 있을 것 같습니다. 배터리 기술이 발전하고 전기차 인프라가 구축되기에 8년은 충분한 시간이니까요. 전기차 살래? 가솔린차 살래? 여러분이 내일 차를 산다면 어떤 차를 사시겠어요? 2030년에는 어떤 차를 사시겠어요? 지금까지 이기적인 아이디어였습니다.